All right, hello. Hello. Yeah. I want us to discuss something called the value chain. All right. That aspect of the supply chain we've been discussing integral, especially within the inbound logistic process. And I want us to discuss value chain generally. When you see a product move from raw, your crude form, refined, all right, and it gets to a point where the consumer loves it, all right, it's value. Now, somebody will say, when you see a gold in its crude form, you will hate it, but it's just a stone. But over time, when the good miners go mine the gold, they dig it up. It is crude, it is dirty. They wash it. Now, they take it from the mines and transport it, same thing like the idea of the milk, to a place where they will now wash it, heat it up, beat it until the gold in it comes out. Now, that is value from a crude stone, all right, to something to becoming a metal that is precious, that people can desire to buy for millions of naira. Now, that stone has will be said, can be said to be that has transformed from one valueless form to a more valued form. So is what we call the value chain of every product. So if you look at from what we've been saying, we can observe that every product or service has a supply chain. Every product, every service has a supply chain. An organization and the activities are part of the supply chain operation. Now, the aim of the supply chain planning or the supply chain planning and management is to identify and create value-adding activities from supply chain operations. All right. Then, and this implies that supply chain are transforming value chain. All right. So a value chain is a linked set of value creating activity beginning with basic raw material from suppliers, moving on to a series of value-added activities involved in producing and marketing the product or service. All right. It's a value creating activities beginning with basic raw material coming from suppliers, moving on to a series of value added activities involved in producing and marketing the product or service, and ending with distributors getting the final goods into the hands of the ultimate consumer of that product. So the focus of a typical value chain analysis is to examine the organization in the context of the overall chain of value creating activities. So in order to identify a company core competence and special capabilities, it is often essential to understand the different capabilities available within the company. All right. So in 1985, Porter created a value chain. All right, and the value chain separates the internal activities of a firm into a sequential chain, and this activity is classified as a supportive function. All right. Now, if you look in your slide, if you look deep into your slide, now you see a typical example of a value chain. Whereas if you look at that slide 25, it gives you a typical example of what a value chain would look like. Where you have your primary activities from where you mine the materials. The inbound logistics talks about, anyway, looks at all activity that includes the process of taking that raw material from that site where it is mined or where it is gotten from, transported to a factory where it is processed. All right, where the operation of processing it and transforming it takes place. Then the outbound logistics is that aspect of supply chain that moves the product from the factory to the different distribution centers across a country or across the world, all right, where it is marketed and sold, all right. Then after services is actually performed. Those are the entire value chain of a product, and those value chain, now these are the primary activities. There are other supportive activities that goes with what that uh, value chain activities, and one of the supportive activities include things like procurement of other component parts, human resources. All right, you need to recruit the right people to help convert. There are research and development and technology to ensure that the product is of right quality, is good, and can be used. Then also infrastructure. All right, all right, that could include general management process and also infrastructures such as road network and also communication network. All right, so these are all the major activities that forms what a value chain should look like. All right, so according to the value chain analysis, I mean, you can tell us that you can say in summary that the primary activity are broken down into 5 different categories. Like I said, inbound logistics in summary, operation, which is work in progress, transformation and processing, outbound logistics, marketing and sales and service. So that the base, I mean, primary activity and secondary activities or supportive function include things like general administrative, research and development, human resource, procurement, and the rest, and the rest, and the rest, like that. All right. So, having said that, I want us to look at something called. Let's actually analyze uh, the relationship. All right, in the value chain. Now, you've seen the links from the value chain of the suppliers. All right. Remember to refer to the value chain of the downstream partners. Everybody have. So the overall cost and profit margin is seen flowing from top down. All right, so you need to understand where it stands. Understand, like, you look at the next slide, gives a typical example of what we talk about in relationship between the value chain of your where you stand, your supplier value chain, and also your own value chain downstream. So in analyzing the value chain of a product, your organization usually has an area of key expertise. All right, any organization will have the area of expertise where its primary activities lie. What is the scope? So an organization center of gravity is that part of that chain that is most important to the company, and the point where the greatest expertise and capability, all right, is located, and that is called its core competence. It is like that. Now that graph, I mean that slide, all right, in slide in slide 24 shows where the value chain of the firm is. That value chain of the firm lies the center of gravity of that firm, and its area called its core competence. So the systematic examination of the organization value chain can lead to better understanding of the firm's strengths and weakness. Right? It can also help to negotiate more favorable price with suppliers if you know your true position, understand your position within the value chain. So the value chain helps to find way to expedite what we call just-in-time deliveries. All right, and also help to expedite or find way to better your inventory cost of operation. Also, better way to manage, I mean, your warehouse operation, shipping and production scheduling costs. So generally, value chain analysis of where you are, it will help to eliminate cost. All right, cost of producing activities by using technology and e-commerce. You understand? To eliminate your cost of production. All right, when you bring in technology and something like e-commerce to understand and to help drive your activity. So it helps to locate, and also, I mean, it also helps to locate your manufacturing activities. So some geographic area where they can be performed more cheaply. If you can understand where you are, understand your position, all right, so you can actually get a cheaper way of doing so. It also helps to implement the use of best practice throughout the organization, particularly when it comes to high cost activities. All right, now after talking about value chain, now let's talk about the last man, the last person, the next person who collects the product in the supply chain. Like, for instance, this is the first source of this is the first source. Now, this first source which it does with the inbound logistic process. Now, from the inbound logistic process, it is moved to where? The transformation process. Now, this man is selling to this man, and this man becomes a customer. And this man sells to a national distributor. This one becomes a customer. So now, we now defines who is a customer. Alright? A customer is that person who is willing and able to buy a product, all right, at a particular price at any given period of time, or at a given period of time. So hence, what a customer wants is good service. customer service. So today, markets are increasingly becoming sophisticated with customers and consumer demanding a competitive environment that is more volatile and less predictable. Today, customer is much more sophisticated than before, and this is a radical change to market that has now is now characterized by one sophisticated and experienced customers we're having nowadays, and perceived equality of product and service functionality. Also, transition and from sellers market to buyers market has made market and customers sophisticated. There are also price competition, time compression, and IT rapid information is making customers smart. So today, consumers possess the knowledge about products and services and the alternative as a result of exposure to the information through various sources of information. So in this circumstance, organizations that will win and survive any market are those that can provide goods and service within the acceptable lead time. What I mean lead time, within the acceptable shortest time, being able to offer a range and variety of products and service with greater reliability. All right, those are the people who will survive and make profits. So this calls for strategies for long-term customer retention, all right, by designing their customer service objectives. So customer service encompasses all activities between a supplier and a buyer, including all tangible and intangible elements. It becomes important for an organization to identify all components of customer service that will need to be addressed within the context of supply chain operation. So the component of customer service can be split into three elements. Now, this element is summarized as follows. One, we have the pre-transactional element. Now, the pre-transactional element covers areas like your customer service or policy, accessibility of product and service, organization and supply chain structure, system flexibility of supply, and delivery. All right, that is the first one. Then that's the pre-transactional element. Then we have what we call the transactional element, which covers your order cycle times, all right, inventory availability, order fill rate, order status information. All right, what I mean order cycle time, I'm saying the time it takes when the customer order is, the time it takes when a customer place order for a particular product, and the time you respond to it is that your order cycle time. That time, that rapid time you actually meet your customer needs order. Then inventory availability, at any time they ask or they come to your shop or they come to your warehouse or you come to your organization, there's always stock available. All right, order fill rate, anytime we order, you're giving us in full, not in partial. All right, then what we call the post-transactional element, and the post-transactional element deals with things like after sales service, all right, availability of spare parts, all right, within the market, then call out time, then let's say product tracing or product warranty, then how you handle customer complaints, all right, and claims, then returns of products when not in use. That's the reverse logistic aspect of it. Those are the components of logistics. All right. Having said the customer service, let's look at the retail supply and logistics. What is retail supply and logistics? Let's look at the retail aspect of it. Now if you go back, like in the late 1990s, there've been a logistical transformation of retailing in the previous decade the previous decade, like in 1998. If you look at compared to 1990 to 1998, they've been changed. And if you compare between 2000 and 2010, they've been changed. If you look at where we're coming from between 2010 and 2019, they've been changed, logical change in how goods is done. Let me give you an example of the change. Formerly, before now, within the last 20 years, there's nothing like ShopRite. All right, there's nothing like bulk discount retail outfit. There's nothing like AliExpress. There's nothing like Jumia. There's nothing like Konga. There's nothing like any of these online things that we can buy online. Now, these things has changed. It has made us understand that sometimes we can get bulk discount sales, especially when we go to a one-stop shop like ShopRite, or you go to Next Supermarket or any of these big discount price wholesale mall. Or we can go online and buy our product and we get it at a good price. So it is making, like we said earlier, customers are becoming sophisticated. All right. So when you look at the retail, the environment for retail logistics, it is changed. So the logistical transformation that I've been talking about is referred to above. This logical transformation, all right, surrounds the retailers who previously had passive recipients of product for sale allocated to store in aspect of demand. So today retailers are the controllers of the product supply in reaction to the known customer demand. So the pool type of scenario, like we were saying before in the before presentation, the pool type of scenario alluded before, it is what we are doing now. It's not the push, because customer are making demand. This is how we want our bottle to be. This is what we want. This is what we want. So now it is controlled by what the customer wants. It is not the push system that was in the early 1990s or the early 1970s. Or now we transform gradually from the push system to where? The pull system. All right. So it is gradually changing. It has changed, not gradually changing, because the information are there. Sometimes if you buy a product, they ask you to rate the product. Right now, you can write there, you can rate a product, you can rate the product or service of anybody, and real time the person gets it. And these days, we live in an era where the perishability ratio of a consumer product, a consumer electronics like a phone, all right, is short. A phone that will be in fashion 5, 6, 12 months ago might not be in fashion in the next 12 months. It is changing. Everybody's wanting something. Everybody's needing something. All right. So we've been seeing that change, and that has transformed the retail environment or the retail supply chain at the moment. Now, what we have something being practiced in today, especially in the OC prices. Normally, your normal commerce will tell you break down production processes into from the production, the normal from secondary school commerce will tell you it goes from raw material to production, production to the wholesaler, wholesaler to retailer, retailer to the consumer. Nowadays, we're having people eliminating that wholesale aspect of it, where you have shops where you have a vendor management inventory, where if you go to shops like maybe ShopRite or you go to shops like Next Supermarket, where most of all these products are directly supplied, all right, by the customer, by the manufacturer. The manufacturer has a sales representative in that store to eliminate the wholesale aspect of it, to get real-time information from the customer. So the product will not go through the hands of a wholesaler again or a second retailer again, but rather it goes directly to where? A retailer, and to the retail outlet where the consumer will now come and buy without going through so many processes. So these are the changing scenarios within the retail supply chain. All right. So there are 6 closely related and mutually reinforcing trends right now that contribute to the logistic transformation experienced by the retail sector. And they are one, increased control over secondary distribution. Retailers have increased their control over secondary distribution, that is warehouse to shop, no more wholesaler. So by channeling on increasing proportion of their supplies through distribution centers. So in some retail sectors like the food industry or processed food industry, where you have the food is sometimes highly perishable, it just go directly to the retail store. Then secondly again, one of the reasons for in summary again why there's a transformation within the retail supply is the fact of we have what we call restructured logistical system, where retailers have reduced inventory and generally improve efficiency through example that the development of composite distribution, and that is the distribution of mixed temperature item through the same distribution center on the same vehicle, and the centralization in the specialist warehouse of a slower moving truck. All right, and in the case of mixed retail business, the establishment of common stock room where the stock is shared across a number of stores, with demand deciding to which store stock is allocated, is developed. So that has restructured that logistical system for retail supplier for perishable items. All right, another one again is what we've seen, the adoption of quick response. Now, the aim of this quick response has been to cut inventory level to improve the speed of product flow, and this has involved reducing order lead time and moving to more frequent delivery of smaller consignment, both internally, all right, and externally of any organization. So, and these most of all these changes are due to the advancement of what technology. Technology like electric point of sales, electronics like EDI, what are we calling it? Technologies like high speed of internet have revolutionized retail supply. All right. So if you put together, all these are reasons why we've seen different transformation within the retail supply chain. So we'll stop the topic here and we'll continue from the global supply chain. Thank you.